Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It is May 20th, 2026. I hope the day is treating you kindly. I got some messages here for you, and I've been collecting them for a few days, so some of them may have occurred already or they may be in process. Please take the messages as it resonates. Don't make it fit if it doesn't work for you, and I'm not sharing this to have a debate or an argument at all. I'm just sharing information. So if you want to bring that, I will just simply block you. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful morning. So, some masculines are talking about validity, which is logically sound, factually true, and legally acceptable. One of these masculines are saying something about kinetic energy, which is any moving object from a rolling bowling ball to vibrating atoms, the energy of motion. Apparently, there was an actress, a servant of the curator, that had been discovered. The curator is telling his bros that she was told, or it has been deemed by whoever caught her, that she's going to suffer for what she did to the United States. These are espionage agents. They came in and they got rid of representatives and then replaced them, and then did their best to destroy the country, to dismantle it. And they're still in process of trying to own that. However, the United States is now Egypt, and there are some significant changes being made in spirit, and they shall manifest here in the 3D at some point, or this place will just go away and we'll wind up in some other universe somewhere, according to what we have learned here. Alrighty then, so there was supposed to be a woman in this position, this caretaker position for the United States, and they did what they do. They married her or just simply sacrificed her and replaced her with a look-alike, and then proceeded to command the authority of the post, the covenant. They destroyed the United States after destroying the caretaker that had been chosen for it. There is no pity for those who attempted to destroy this upper dimensional daughter. The men in this realm did not want an actual divine woman, goddess figure in charge of anything. They did not want to obey a mother. So they did their best to destroy, defile, and desecrate her and everything that came from her, and to cast the illusion that everything that came from the mother, besides themselves, of course, was unworthy. They're talking about Yahuwah. They mentioned Yahuwah the other day. There was an actress portraying the daughter, the covenant holder, and she has been discovered. They mentioned Yahuwah again. And there's something about the UK. The curator and his buddies are talking about the surface. Now, there's something about nanodust, which is smart dust. Networks of miniature wireless sensors that are often smaller than a grain of sand. These people have been spraying this stuff, seeding the clouds with it, blowing it into the atmosphere for decades. The surface of the planet is covered in smart dust, programmable nanobots. They're in the bodies of the people, and it's covering the surface of the planet. I was thinking about the sick care systems needing medicine and how these guys get beyond God's mighty shield for humanity. And it's nanodust, a bioengineered AI smart system they've put into and sprayed all over the surface of the earth. It's covering everything. It's in everything. So there needs to be a solution provided on how to dismantle or cease the operation of the smart dust. It's in the brains of everybody. They can program it. As they saw with the COV diet thing, that twice in Portland, they had, in the stores, they had actual fist fights over toilet paper. That's how freaking brilliant their technology is. They can program groups of people. Granted, these particular targeted groups were mostly people with brown skin, so they can also target ethnicities with this system. The nanodust is a communications module microprocessors. They're in the flesh body, harvesting the power source, the vital force. And it also runs streams of radio type Wi-Fi programming, self-loathing, anger, heartbreak. It sucks the vital force, the light out of your soul, your SOL, your inner sun. It harvests the power source. Number 4449, which is a powerful spiritual message encouraging you to build a strong foundation for your future. Angels are bringing an end to this chaos. A masculine is saying something is interesting. One of these masculines said they both gotta go back. There are beings here that have been trapped since the very beginning, centuries ago, thousands of years ago, and they've been being harvested as a power source. Their very intense energy and light has been fueling these parasitical nanobot inorganic entity that's sort of latched on to the bioform like a tick or something. One of these masculines said they both got to go back. So it's the original two caretakers of the secret garden, male and female. They were both sacrificed thousands of years ago and led into an extreme amount of torture and suffering while they were being harvested for this energy, and everything else that was organic was also being harvested and then replicated, synthesized by this network that has glorified and committed its life force to this smart dust, this alien smart dust. It could also be that the two that had replaced the original two have to go back to wherever that is, the very beginning of nothingness. I don't know. One of these masculines said something about root bound. In the occult context, it describes a person or ritual trapped by limiting beliefs, stagnant karmic patterns, or attachments to the material world that prevent spiritual growth. Now, with this smart dust, these nanobots within all systems and all people, they can monitor your vital force and your mental activity, and they can make adjustments in your patterning, in your belief system, in what you feel or think about yourself, holding you below the graduation necessity, keeping you in fight or flight, in sadness, making it impossible or nearly so to do the shadow work and come up out of heartbreak or betrayal or some kind of catastrophe that was meant to destroy you. They've driven everybody into failure, and they've fraudulently filed reporting that we were choosing these things in our life or creating them ourselves. So, alrighty then. So, root bound in the occult, it describes a person or ritual trapped by limiting beliefs, stagnant karmic patterns, or attachments to the material world that prevents spiritual growth. You have outgrown your current container, belief system, environment, or career, but are contained by it. So you've got one foot in the physical reality where this root-bound system is, where everybody was kept very bound in their container, this big energy. And you've outgrown your container, but yet you're contained by it. And there seems to be some kind of a thing going on here. It's like the roots don't want to be contained anymore. It's like God says, whoa, and once you come out of that container, your roots you're gonna be like massive. They've held you here for thousands of years in this container. So instead of growing outward, for some of these occultists, their thoughts and actions circled back in on themselves in a repetitive, unfulfilling pattern. And I feel that this smart dust technology has kind of been looping people's minds back in, once you got free of an addictive pattern, it kept pulling people back into it. The smart dust, this programmable smart dust that has latched itself onto the neurons of your mind, making it very challenging for you to make forward movement. Whatever these smart dust is, it's a technology, AI programmable technology that can be dismantled, canceled. We just need to find the right solution is all. Recognition of the problem is first and foremost. So the individual must consciously break these restrictive patterns, a process that is often uncomfortable but necessary for spiritual expansion. They had everybody on an impossible path, a very low vibrational, sacral and root existence, fight or flight, survival mode, right? And everybody was getting horny, and everybody was getting attacked by Jezebels coming in and siphoning your rainbow chakra, your soul, your solar essence, your vital force. So they were holding you back from spiritual expansion. These sorcerers and these technology aliens, or whatever the heck they are, these leaders, kept the world, the people of the world, root-bound in root-bound covenant rituals. According to Google, typically performed near the roots of a living tree. The tree root represents ancestral memory, subconscious power, and the grounding of the physical world. In this space, practitioners bind their intentions to the laws of nature. Many have broken universal laws with these rituals by binding ancestors, trees, and filing false reporting on their lineage here now. These ones are talking about the firstborn, which is the eldest children have long been tied to family legacy, inheriting the lion's share of family estates. These people or entities, whatever they are, tried to eliminate the firstborn daughters and sons and replace them with their synthetic. They synthesized the royal firstborn and then replaced them with synthetics that were puppets so that the men who were handling them could command the authority in the covenant. But they're not men, they're parasites. They are talking about hunting. And it could be dark angels, space marines, hunting their fallen brethren, the firstborn. And the curse has been broken. So everybody, the firstborns of the true power holders of these royal freaking legacies. There's something of the wild hunt, which is a procession of ghost hunters led by mythological figures like Odin, Herne the hunter, or Hecate. Traditionally, witnesses of the hunt were thought to be swept up as prey or forced to join the phantom army. Historical and modern accounts of some abusive groups describe rituals disguised as hunting and gathering, games in wooded areas used to terrorize participants. The Bible emphasizes the protection of the firstborn or their redemption. These entities have been hunting the firstborn for centuries and locking them up, cursing them, and assuming their legacies. They changed it. They said it had to be a firstborn son. They said no woman could be in a status of authority, but trust me, the woman has status and authority. It's just these low-level, unqualified devils that insist she doesn't. The firstborn carries specific ancestral responsibilities or spiritual assignments, which can lead to themes of them being targeted by negative entities and curses. And yes, all of the firstborn have been targeted, hunted, and cursed, but those curses are broken and they are freed, and they're coming after these ones. The wild hunt may be occurring. The dark angels, space marines, may be here hunting for their fallen brethren, the firstborn. You jackasses. The firstborn, fallen brethren. Oh yes, the dark angels, the space marines are here to gather the firstborn. Congratulations, by the way, you survived and you're identifiable. And you don't have to be a son to be considered a firstborn who has spiritual assignment and specific ancestral responsibility. By the way, it's a feminine who broke the curse. And these nasty jacks, all of them in their little sorcerer covens and whatnot, could not stop her. Though they tried. It's incredible. They're embarrassed because they as a collective could not stop one woman with source connection. One firstborn woman one ancient woman they thought that they had exterminated. These nasty jacks stole the gifts of the firstborn females. For centuries, they've been feeding the men atrazine and other gender-altering chemicals to turn them into their bitches, their puppets, always pining after some kind of reward. That never came. So they insisted that women were never to receive this authority. They've tortured women for every lifetime, centuries, and replaced them with lookalikes, these synthetic clones who were out there whoring and attaching devil attachments to the divine masculines, and then drawing in the covenant of their rainbow chakra, their power soul, and sticking double attachments on it and then draining it of its vital force. These guys have been replacing the true apple with fake apples, sending them up so that they could devil attach and then drain out the chakra, the covenant of the divine masculines, while saying that the true were down here being horrors. No, that was the synthetics that were being horrors. The trues were being tortured. Fucking pricks. So they replaced the firstborn daughters and with their synthetic hoe bags, their puppets, and then commanded their trapped identity and essence. So they kept harvesting the essence and dressing up the synthetic with it, and then had them going around being a Jezebel, hurting people and stuff, while the original was being trapped and desecrated. They tried to eliminate the divine feminines and their authority. These pimps, these sex traffickers, they trafficked the royal first daughters. They gender altered the royal first sons throughout many lifetimes. Cast the illusion that they were whores, fighting with each other, competing with each other over who was the better woman. The true divine, soprano, upper dimensional mothers and fathers have seen what they have done to the spirit and the soul of their descendants. And the mothers and fathers, I wrote here, will have their balls, whatever that means. Okay, so these nasties are talking about compensation, and they cannot compensate for torturing and consuming royal souls and screwing with their identity, siphoning the wealth, and effing around with the authority of these upper dimensional royal families. These losers. The curator is talking about adrenal bleeding, which is trauma, blunt force to the abdomen, stress, physiological stress from surgery, burns, or critical illness. Now, unfortunately, I saw one Twitter post or whatever about some Epstein pictures, and it showed this happy little 3-year-old having a great old time smiling and laughing with some toys that they gave her. And the next picture had her just in serious stress, with all of her legs and her arms bandaged. And you can see that she had a chemical burn on her face. They chemically burned this little girl, and then they adrenal bleeded her, or whatever this is, adrenal bleeding. They needed the physiological stress from the burn in order to drain the adrenals. And this is what they've been doing. Everybody can see that this is what they've been doing to the royal human souls of the upper dimensional royals. So, they're in big trouble. These ones are nasty. They create a severe suffering so that they can get a harvest. They like the children because the essence is pure and powerful, close to source. These men are complaining that a woman has a growing legacy. and they have to do something. I was remembering, pondering various astral realm experiences and such. And then a thought rolled through my mind that said, land of the free, Lori. Now, land of the free. It's those who have avoided Western colonization. It's a popular nickname for the USA, which would be strange that it would also be said to mean those who have avoided Western colonization. So land of the free are those who are free of Western colonization, even though the Western colony calls itself the land of the free. You see how it adopts the name of, it kind of twists everything. It also could be referenced to the Bohemian Grove. There was a visual, a Converse, a tennis shoe. It was black and it had the white toe and the white vinyl toe, and then the wide white that went around the bottom of the sole, and it had a red shoelace on it. Whatever that means. At 11 p.m., they were saying, she's different. So you got these people out there, and these are the ones who feel that they command the world. They're trying to get rid of this woman who is establishing a legacy by helping people, by protecting people, by advocating for the innocent. And these men are furious that she is helping them, healing them, and being recognized by the upper dimensional authority. They continuously strategize and try to convince their younger following that they need to help them capture her, Judas her, gather her, so that they can once again have the energy, the upper dimensional gifts. They can use her temple as a ladder to those upper dimensional spaces, and then continue masquerading up there to harvest the upper dimensional beings. They're desperate to get a hold of this woman, to cancel what she is doing for the people, and to continue in their fraudulent harvesting schemes. They are desperate to get these youngers to help them because they're failing on their own, and they need the innocent energy to go in there and be an espionage agent for them. These guys are talking about prophecy and how this one making changes is different. They are saying that she is the opposite of what they said she was going to be. They said that she was going to be a destroyer, and she's not. She is healing those who had been victimized and filling them with giving them the joy and the stabilization they need to thrive. And these ones, though, are getting wrath from God because this woman is a cherished, chosen one. So she wasn't the wrath that they were expecting. The wrath that they were expecting was the wrath that was going to come if she survived. And she did. And what they have done to her is recognized. Therefore, the divine wrath of the soprano dimensional space, the upper realm, is here to wipe them out. And they're trying to stick what's happening to them on this woman. But she's healing people and helping people. The wrath that is upon them is her family. They're talking about structure, territorial structure. Someone told the curator that he is a con artist. So either the con artist is the curator, or the con artist is somebody that the curator has posted or placed as a representative. The curator seems to be the leader of a collective tribe, that is loyal to a soul-eating black hole, an entity that really has no purpose except to consume. And whoever the face is for the people here in the 3D, he's a con artist. And the people in the 3D are seeing it. He's trying to structure the territory. He's trying to gain territorial control. But he's a con artist. He's not divine. They want to eliminate this woman who is, and they're trying to blame God's wrath on her. They're trying to say she's connected to a devil, but they are the one who is serving the devil, and the one who they've appointed as this representative, this energy harvester of angels, is a con artist, just a feeder and a pimp, basically, harvesting the sacral energy of divine beings. The curator is saying that she's stronger than he thought she was. The people aren't hypnotized by his illusionary magic any longer. He says there's something about restitution, which is the act of restoring something to its rightful owner. These pimps in this realm had taken this authority and this position away from a divine upper dimensional daughter because they were upset over having to live by these moral and ethical value systems of the territorial structure. They didn't want a divine mother telling them that they couldn't go fuck every goddamn thing they wanted to. They couldn't pimp every freaking buddy for profit. So they trapped her and been torturing her for centuries. And everything and everybody that came from her, all of the organic things. They've been forcing her to be a breeding person for their alien friends. Pirates of the genetic royal DNA. Creating mutations and hybrids that should never, ever, ever have had access to this, not only the genetics, but the temple that was the ladder to this upper dimensional space. They're very good copycats, body snatchers, Agent Smiths. And with this nanodust that they've got out there in the temples and in the bodies, most people, they're chip. They don't even know that the thoughts that they're having aren't theirs. It's a karmic personality from a principality layering their transmitter receiver system organic. There's got to be a way to shut it off, to dismantle it, to deactivate it. So they're talking about restitution, which is the act of restoring something to its rightful owner or making amends for a loss, damage, or injury. What they did to the body, mind, and soul of children, who then became these wounded and traumatized adults, who were puppeted and driven into circumstances and events that they themselves would not have chosen, were deceitfully accused of being that, and then trapped so that they could use them over and over again. It's heinous. They can never compensate for the desecration of this royal family's collective soul. They cannot be permitted presence among the people. They've proven themselves and who they were and what their intentions are for centuries. There's no debate. There's no consideration. There's no need to explain anything. It's already very well documented. The intention. They think that if they threaten the woman, that she's going to be afraid, and there's no reason to be afraid because the bridge has been mended and the upper divine is here, and they are far more powerful than those who had commanded this space. They have wisdom that this nanobot technology didn't have access to, so they weren't able to replicate. At least that's what I'm thinking. You know, they want to destroy this woman who has authority again. But her soprano, upper dimensional divine family are here for vengeance. And they have sworn that these ones will get what they deserve for what they have done to her. They synthesized her. There were many copies. They were all drawing off of her powerful royal upper dimensional energy, and they were doing foul things in her name while violating her spirit. The parasitical pirates are going to get an ass whooping. One that they probably couldn't have imagined, because I think there are upper dimensional beings that they're very unaware of. You know, these people, for many of us, it's been centuries of suffering, but once the upper dimensional divine got here, it's been less than 2 years. Less than 2 years. All these thousands of years of torture and suffering it's nearly completely dismantled. They say that the high divine are sociopaths. And it's funny. You know, they're used to Mama Bear and Papa Bear here in this 3D realm, or maybe a 4D realm or whatever. But some of you are from like 12D, masquerading as a 3D. What, here? Did you fall? You fell to tell? You came here to gather evidence? I don't know. You can turn your story into a hero's story if you want to. It can be anything you want. You're a creator, creatress. So, yes, the upper divine is here. They've been giving an ass whooping, and it's probably going to materialize here in the 3D. This woman, who is an upper divine royalty, is not a factor anymore for these fellows, even though they like to put out the message that they have no idea, you know. Yes, they have stolen her honor for centuries. They have tortured her to death for centuries, many, many times. They have shattered her rainbow chakra, her whole entire system of this royal covenant, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And they thought for sure that they had annihilated her. They thought she was gone. But when she popped back up after all this time, stronger than ever, it's weird how they can take an innocent child of this beautiful upper divine, a beautiful child who cannot see malice in anybody. And they violated her so freaking bad. But she has received her upgrade and she's no longer a child. And the Divine Mother is here. And it's so cool. It sounded like the curator is explaining his dilemma to a new fellow here to assist the slaver maintain hold over the earth angels and their covenant merchandise. It sounds like he wants an explanation as to why he is being evicted. They need to unalive or replace this woman who has inherited the territory. It was hers to begin with, but thousands of years ago, they tortured her, unalived her, drank her blood, ate her flesh, and all this time, well, if you can sing them, well, you can be just like them. No, it's just an illusion. You stop feeding on them, and pretty soon it becomes very clear that they're not an angel, they're an actual devil feeding on angels. They say that when they do that, they inherit the angel's gifts, and they do, because they have this transference magic or whatever this ritual is. They have the ability to use those gifts, but they use those gifts against the angel's upper dimensional family. They go make war, wearing her own face or wearing his own face. It's weird the way this thing works. These body snatchers, these odd people. The pimps of the world desperately need to remove this divine feminine that has been given a very high ranking authority. She's not taking any jive from these turkeys. And they're furious because they're weak against her. Without access to her essence and energy, her gifts, without access to this harvested life force, they cannot control her. They were using her own gifts, her own energy, and her own everything to bind her and control her, and to vilify her and desecrate her character and her reputation. And then here's this thing that he said, which was very interesting. Finally, I got another piece of information regarding this medicine. He was talking about using medicine to measure the vital force of somebody's body. So it's not just graphene or nanobots in the body delivering things and whatnot. They're being used to measure vital force. Whatever is in their medicine is monitoring the vital force of the body and offering access and opportunity for them to bring imbalance to the system so that they can call it sick and harvest it. They have smart dust in the body, programmable. It's latched on and monitoring the vital force of the temple housing spirit and soul. And it is manipulating that vital force, trying to cast the illusion that the body is sick so that they can harvest the soul value. So it's a hotspot connection for this Wi-Fi technology. It's nanodust, smart dust, programmable nanotech in the body and the mind. And it's forcing in thought patterns that are self-defaming, loathing and rage. And you're so angry, you're holding a grudge. It's doing this. You're not holding the grudge. It's this nanodust, this smart technology that is holding you in this space, and it's prohibiting you from rising above it, letting go of it. It's keeping you bound to it. Spirit called it biometrics. Biometrics focuses on the unique patterns of a person's actions, rhythm, signature, voice. They measure the vital force of the body, and they focus on the unique patterns of the person, their rhythm, signature, and voice. They create digital synthetic versions seen here in the 3D or in some other dimensional space. And then they do these Netflix movies or whatever using your rhythm, signature, and voice. The problem with you, collective, is that they thought that you were done, out for the count, exterminated, done. Soul value harvested, barely alive. But God saw you anyway and then reactivated you. Activated you. brought you back online. And it's very obvious that all of these synthetic versions of you are not you, because if anybody is out there emitting frequency and light, it is the original. These ones are synthetics, synthesized versions of you. So while biometrics relies on specific body mapping, like fingerprints and iris scans for security, its roots trace back to occult practices like palmistry and physiognomy, which attempted to read a person's character and fate through their physical traits. A person's body holds unique geometry, a literal imprint of a higher power or a spiritual map, rather than just a genetic identifier. Yesterday, I heard the Unseen Masculines state that Epstein synthesized her. He cloned this queen centuries ago, and they've been running the script of her identity from that time. And there are many of you queens out there, so take that, okay? I'm not saying it's me. I'm saying there are many freaking original organic queens out there, but you got these other ones that are out there competing. It's not you. Well, bitch, I didn't say it was me. Get your ass out of here. He cloned this and these queens centuries ago by casting illusions and playing with her energy and gifts for centuries. They've been defiling the reputation of these people, and they've been filing fraudulent reporting to their ancestry for centuries, harvesting their value and living high on the hog here in 3D, 4D, wherever, in wearing the energy of a shattered heart and soul. Dirty rat bastards, all of them. So, they are talking about a flesh body needing electricity to see if it's a functioning body. These nasties use artificial intelligence to do that. They monitor the electricity of the body. These people have been harvesting up to like 50% of the electricity out of the body, and then they've been calling everybody sick, saying that they're malfunctioning, they're incapable, and that they have a right to harvest whatever is inside that angel's temple. And the fact is that they've been driven into this failure. They've been harvested and then deceitfully convicted of being incapable of producing enough energy to graduate above the level that they've been forced under. They use artificial intelligence to monitor the vital force, the electricity, in a flesh temple, as well as to alter the body's performance through the programming of this smart dust, this nanotechnology in these medicines, in this layering, this nanodust that they've been spraying all over the country, that's covering the surface of everything. And it's been sucked up into the trees, it's been sucked up into the temples, it's been sucked up into the bioform of everything. This smart dust. It's an unnatural substance inserted into the body of an organic being in order to monitor and affect its vital force and operating system. And these ones who want to enslave humanity insist that if there's medicine in the body, that they have rights, because you have to be a naturally functioning organic being in order to qualify for the position of authority. These assholes put this smart dust in the air and into everything, and they have been saying that you are no longer an organic being, that you are no longer natural, and therefore no longer qualify. And I say that they want to get rid of you before you can develop a solution that dismantles and undoes the functioning of this smart dust. Because you're smart, you're an original organic, you're an ancient royal being with technology and mentality that they cannot fathom. You can undo this smart dust. They want to stop you before you can. They want to claim your mind and your consciousness because they have nanodust in your body. They want to say that whatever is coming forth from you is because of them. But I'll tell you something, whatever chip they put in you, they have also complained that it's malfunctioning. They can't control your mind. You've evolved through the suffering. You bypassed the dust of interfering satellites or whatever, these cyborgs. So there needs to be a solution on how to deactivate this smart technology. It absolutely has to be deactivated. These people have put it in the body. They have broken every law, man, as far as I'm concerned. They hijacked God's original organic communication system, and that was a big no-no. They don't have any rights here. There will be a solution provided, and I am certain of it, to deactivate and remove this technology from the temples housing upper divine spirit and soul. These guys are saying that she confiscated something. Whatever it was, she confiscated it. The curator's guide or guru or whatever is saying that she upset the apple cart. All of the apples, the sons, daughters of Eden, they had gathered in their cart are free. According to Google, to upset the apple cart means to disrupt, ruin, or spoil a carefully laid out plan or established routine. They've been harvesting the apples. They've gathered them in their cart. Divine feminine of upper authority has upset that apple cart. She has spoiled their carefully laid out plan and their established routine of harvest of energy, vital force, and upper dimensional gifts and access. The daughters divine are no longer willing to cooperate with these parasitical harvesters. It could be that the worms wanting to eat those apples. They lost their supply and they're losing their marbles too. A younger masculine, not teenager, but not really adult either, maybe around 20, 21 years old, he said, arguing, he was angry. That's bullshit. These fellows are complaining, and another one says, it is done. Which reminds me of, in the Bible, the story where Jesus says, it is done. One masculine said to the curator, you lied to us. And there's some talk, and another one said, it's too late for us. One of them said, easy pickings, like it was a whole lie, a big fat lie that wound up undoing their life and their potential. They've been using all of the divine feminines in their SEX rituals, and they're fed up. They don't want to be used like that. They are queens of a divine right, sovereign beings. They don't want to be treated like a disposable bag of energetic supply, to be used whatever they please. These ones are talking to the curator about fake apples. It's too late for them. They chose a fake apple. These ones have been gathering the real apple and then sacrificing it out and then replacing it with a fake apple. And they had this whole scheme on how they were going to gather God's royal freaking status. The curator held back the real apples in this valley of the shadow of death or whatever for pimping, for this SEX slave system. This, because they got to harvest the energy in order to be seen as valuable, in order to travel up and down your ladder to get to this upper dimensional space and cast the illusion that they belong there, to alter, foundational structures and traditional values or whatever, so that they could like disrupt the system, by doing that. So yeah, it was a big grand scheme. They sent up devils wearing a shattered heart and soul energy of a true queen to attach devil entities to these divine masculines, to harvest them and bind them as well. It was a grand feast all the way around. The curator sent them Jezebel to drain their power with that devil attachment so that they could never become an actual challenger to their guide, their leading alien or whatever that is, their God. Somebody said, "Oh, come on." And the curator is insisting, "She needs her medicine." Their measurements of the vital force have always been faulty. They get this nanodust, this programmable shit, and it latches on like a freaking chip, and it kind of does its thing. And the problem for them is that their chip malfunctioned in you. It doesn't matter that it's in you, it's malfunctioning. And they're complaining because it's not working and they can't control you. They want to unalive you and get rid of you and torture you and all that. How dare you make it beyond their impossible freaking scheme of keeping you forever trapped below the bar of your everything. They manipulated and fabricated charts and levels and performance capacity just so that they can continue harvesting and parasiting the host energy of royalty. There's something about a monstrosity, which is something unusually large, incredibly ugly, or frighteningly abnormal. A massive eyesore, like a hideous building, or a genetic mutation. These ones may have created a genetic mutation that needs to feed this black hole that I don't know, it's a monstrosity. God said that these ones who created it or whatever are the new fodder for it. It's their responsibility. Or they could be talking about that stupid ballroom, which I think is BA''AL. They've been talking about civil war. I think they're going to activate this nanodust that's in the vessel, the temple, these bodies of people, and they're going to program them in order to fight each other, to attack each other. And so this is going to be a premeditated, very long ago event where the people will probably, just like in those toilet paper wars, they'll turn on each other. Problem is everybody's got guns. You probably really will want to stay inside when that happens. But just know it's not the people getting freaked out. It's them being programmed with this nanodust, this smart dust. The upper dimensional people have given humanity a pass because it is very obvious that they have been set up and driven, and then there's been all kinds of illusions cast about them being cannibals and such because they've polluted the meat market with what they themselves are doing. They thought that they could transfer the responsibility of being a cannibal onto the people, but it's very obvious what it is because you survived. The chip failed. You were able to get your proper and truthful information to the upper dimensional beings that needed to see the truth. These ones are so angry that you lived. They're so angry that you're in a position of power and that they have to obey you. Their ego can't take it. Their manhood is challenged. But they're not even men. They're like parasites, cyborgs or whatever. So the etymology of a monstrosity traces back to the Latin word monstrum, which is a divine omen or a warning. They could have been given a monstrosity, an unusually frightening warning. They are talking about a hurricane. One may be coming. It could be a monster bigger than anybody has ever seen that is going to bury everything. Could be man-made. I highly doubt it. It could be principality tech from one of these interdimensional off-planet freaking gurus and guides. Maybe they're just going to nuke everybody or freaking cause a storm, freaking bury everything, start over. But they're not in charge anymore. God is, and God's got better technology. It could be that God's wrath is going to wipe everybody out. And only those that were chosen will be protected. That's why these ones were so desperate to step into your energy, to F up your mind, to get you seen deceitfully as an angry person who could not let go of past trauma. They wanted to make you seen as though you had not done your shadow work, but you have, because you breathed into it and it wouldn't stick, this lie. You did your work this time. They didn't know you were doing your work. They thought that you were gone, gone, gone. So they just ignored you for a few thousand years. And when you popped up, it was like, who the heck is that? Darling, you don't know this person. It's like you've been shattered and restructured, shattered and restructured. You kept rebuilding yourself. And whoever it is that you became after so many torturous mental and heart and emotional and the light was sucked out of you and you had to bring it back in. I mean, these people didn't know the work that you were doing and who it was you were becoming or the strength that you were building. So they're talking about the hurricane. One may be coming. It could be a monster. It could be that it's God's wrath. The storm god could be gonna wipe everybody out. So in the Norse mythology, that would be Thor. In Greek, that is Zeus and Poseidon. In Japanese, that's Raijin. In Egyptian, that's Set. And in Maya, it's Huracan or something like that. Now, all the curses have been broken. All of these old guys that they had trapped in some freaking curse, it's been broken. All the old gods and goddesses, the pharaohs, and all of these old people the bones that they have been sandpapering to annoy the ancestry, to bleed them of their wealth, they're free. And they're coming to collect what had been taken from their families. And it appears to me that all of the ancestry that had been, these people or whatever, these aliens or whatever, they thought that they had exterminated, gotten rid of them forever. But they're coming together without prejudice and all of their many powerful skills and various wills. And they're putting this to rest. This has been going on for centuries. And now that the curse has been broken and they are free, they're putting this, it's been less than 2 years. These people who have been brutalizing women and children and altering the gender of men have no idea what brutality really is, but they're going to find out. They are finding out. And it has nothing to do with me or you or the ones who have been tortured all this time. We didn't have any of these skills and abilities. We didn't become malicious, vengeful people. We cried and prayed and kept going on. The nasty pimps were using the willing participation of reckless sex and ritual, a willing or unwilling participation in an sex ritual, to fight and contain these ancient beings. The women were used to lock up their own protectors. And that was because they were being violated and defiled as children before they even knew anything at all. And it's been going on for a very long time. Or they were being, their energy and their gifts were being used to lock up and those protectors or those who would even want to be that for them. So when they started using the women's energy that they were violating as such to harm other people that might have been a potential suitor or protector, then of course those people started attacking you because they thought you were attacking them. But no, it was just these masculines who had you locked up and caged in some curse using your own energy to hurt people. And therefore all these other people wanted to hurt you because they thought you were doing it, but you weren't. The apples are not participating as they once were. The angels have opened their eyes, Spirit says. Somebody's saying something and another masculine said, neither did we. I've heard them say, they didn't do anything to her. And somebody else could be saying, well, neither did we. And that it's just, I don't know how all that works. I don't know how divine judgment and justice works. All I know is that the upper supreme, the divine masculine, stated that these upper divine royal daughters had been too forgiving, and that they don't have any say whatsoever. These entities that have been abusing the women and the children that come from them and the men by effing around with their genders and doing this atrocious thing to strip them of their manhood, they're in such big trouble. And all those that they have abused will be reestablished, reaffirmed, resuscitated, remasculinated. They'll be given back all their pride, all their beautiful strength, and this atrociousness that had assaulted their soul will be healed. I don't know how, but it will be. And the land is going back to them. The wealth is going back to them. They are talking about revelations and prophecy and a woman being psychic. They are talking about a woman's reputation, and the curator is continuing to talk about the medicine. He keeps insisting that because his smart dust is in the flesh body, he has rights to harvest this woman, these women, and everything's cool, man. He's trying to tell all his buddies, it's cool, man. There's nanodust in here. It's cool. It's cool. We got this. He believes it, or he's trying to get them to believe it. They are talking about some kind of a manhunt. Their guide is talking about transportation. They've been talking about transportation for some time now. And it could be that these ones are losing their ability to be mobile. A manhunt. It could be that they want to, activate their nanodust chipped puppetry to hunt people. Or maybe they're concerned that they are being hunted. They don't have the ability to get away. Their cars are being repoed. They got into an accident. They don't have transportation to go hunt somebody. They need transportation. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. That's the message. I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.